What a night. What a night. What news? What's going on, people? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back. This is the return of Late Night Fraudulence. This is going to be a controversial one. This is not a video that you need to miss. If you have got thoughts, please do get involved. This is your opportunity to have your say as well. We will, of course, be doing the Discord. You are now watching your fraud father, live and exclusive from the Fraud Gang HQ in the centre, the heart, yeah, the very blood that runs through the capital of the greatest footballing nation in the world, the home of football. But is it the home of football? We will be discussing that tonight, my fraudulent friends. And as I say, you can, of course, join me for a chinwag as we bring you the hard-hitting home truths that your heart so truly desires. My fellow frauds, these are turbulent times still. I know that we've been let out of prison, partially, but I hope you are still looking after each other. We're all we've got, people. Tonight, we are going to offer a little bit of escape. And of course, we will be going through all the latest breaking news for that ass. And there is plenty of breaking news for that ass. What is going on here with the lighting? Let's sort the lighting up. We've got fucking fraudulent lighting. I'm switching over to the main screen. This is going to polarize the fan bases amongst us. But it is your opportunity to have your say with your favourite YouTuber's favourite football YouTuber. How are we all doing? Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. We will be going through a couple of shout-outs before we get down to business. Where's all the certified Donnies? Gang, fraudification squad, I see you. I'll raise an espresso emoji to you. And yes, first things first, much love to everyone who is getting involved in the chat. We are going to be going through the comments very shortly. This is a stressful one, but join me in raising your espresso emojis as we journey deep inside and toast to what was just the 15th episode of the For the People podcast. At least that we can be thankful for. Much love to everyone who did tune in. Please do let me know your thoughts and check it out if you haven't already. But for now, my fraudulent friends, who exactly is on Fraud Watch tonight? If you do want to get involved, once more, we do have the fucking favourite, yeah, it's the internet's favourite football phone-in. I'm really looking forward to getting your thoughts. The links to the Discord will be put in the chat by the mods. Hopefully there's a couple of them in there. And whichever club you support, wherever you're watching from, I want you to have your say and a conversation, discourse with me. Get in the Discord for that discourse. Join the call queue. Get involved, send your comments and questions in, I'll go through them all as we proceed. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you're new and drop the video a damn like. Please do exercise those freeloading fraudulent thumbs. We are going to be going in tonight because this is very, very close to my heart. And I'm sure that you as a football fan, and I'm presuming that's the reason that you're here, are truly moved by what has happened or been announced in the last few minutes. But for now, let me start this video by clarifying. For the record, for the hard of hearing, for the illiterate amongst us, yeah? For those incapable of critical thought, and for those whose social media is just an echo chamber, you know, I know there are plenty of, I'm included in this, the simple-minded folk. Yeah? I want to make it unequivocally clear for anyone that doesn't understand where I stand. I am completely, totally, and utterly against the European Super League. Okay? Let's just lay those cards out there. But for now, before we get down to the nitty-gritty, because I do have thoughts about the pros and cons of both sides of the coin. And of course, like with anything, there's three sides to a story. We'll try and get as close to the truth as possible. Anyhow, I want to say much love to Spectrums, to Abe Froman, to KC, and to Dilly Dilly. These are Ethan Bopp. These are the elite, true Fraud Gang members who have supported the channel, and you are massively appreciated. Now let's go straight into some comments and questions, because I know you do have thoughts. Everyone has got things on the tip of their tongue right now. It's an emotional moment. We're going to read the news initially to open things up. The news is that 12 of Europe's biggest clubs are reportedly set to form, not reportedly, it is official, they are set to form a breakaway league. And the European Club Association is opposing the idea. The ECA has joined UEFA in condemning proposals for a new European Super League, as widespread reports emerged on Sunday of an agreement in place between 12 European clubs to form a breakaway competition. And those clubs are, these are the guilty parties. These are really the 1%ers. I'm shaking with fury. I have to let you know, I'm holding back right now. It's obviously coffee as well, because it is, midnight. Shouldn't be probably drinking double espresso furto. Yeah, strength 13. Jeez. But these are the guilty parties. And we will be questioning and looking into why and how each one of these mother things that they've got the right to be acting in the way that they are. But let's just begin by naming and shaming. First and foremost, Real Madrid. It does so happen to appear that this gang are being led, spearheaded by one Florentino Perez. Of course, long-time Real Madrid president. We've got Barcelona involved. We've got Atletico Madrid involved. Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan, and then the Premier League clubs. Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and most laughably of all, Tottenham and Arsenal. Two teams with little to no European pedigree whatsoever. I mean, it is barely worth speaking of, really, is it? The audacity of Tottenham and Arsenal to think that, given the way things are set, especially this season, it is making a mockery of the game. But this is being done brazenly in front of our eyes. Now, I watched the news recently and was completely bemused when I saw the unveiling of biological advancements where monkey embryos were being fused with human embryos. This is something that they've announced to the world that they have made great advancements with and could in some way help us. And you know what? I thought, wow, I watched Justice League the other day, and that is what Darkseid said. He wanted workers who had lost free will. Amazing how this technology or advancement in the science could really be taken advantage of. Because what this guy who was being interviewed was saying was he didn't know whether we would treat these things like animals or humans, because they're both. Now, that may be swaying from the point for some, but to me, it is a classic example of how we are told things when they've already happened. You are drip-fed the information. The iPhone, the latest iPhone, is not something that they have suddenly discovered or just happened upon in the last 6 months that they then unveil as this amazing new product that's going to change the world. No, this is something that has been planned year upon year in advance, and we are drip-fed. Make no mistake that this news about the European Super League has been drip-fed for years. We have been talking about the possibility of this happening for nearly a decade. And Arsene Wenger did a beautiful quote about it, basically saying that it would happen in 2017-18 season, I believe. It's funny to hear him basically having to rubbish the idea, or having been had to rubbish the idea over the last 6 months. And it does appear, given what has been happening on social media over the last hour, that this is in full swing. We are going to go through how the competition is set up, why this is happening, who is behind this, and what is actually happening to football. Because I'm hearing some really, really confused opinions. People are rightly furious, rightly angry, rightly confused. And this is sad. This is very sad. This is your history being stolen from under your nose. Hundreds of years of community clubs that have bonded people together being ripped apart. Lifelines. Jobs are going to be lost. This money will not drip feed through down to grassroots. That is kind of the point. And it is sad. It is depressing. But this, my friends, my fraudulent friends, much love to you for joining me. This is our reality. This is not a fucking reality. This is the future. This is the very now. And this is what we've actually chosen over the last 30 odd years. Slowly but surely selling off every valuable asset to the highest bidder, sometimes regardless of the intention, to, cash rich oligarchs, oil barons, royal families, and even like countries, whole governments. I find it amazing that people have just woken up to the fact that money has ruled this sport since God knows when. Why is now all of a sudden so different? Amazing as well that there are going to be people who won't have lived through this and probably don't see it as being the same. But we will get into how I feel it really is quite similar. Is the transition that the Premier League had to make in the early 90s, in its inception. This is a mad power grab, obviously. This is disgraceful. This is in line with a lot of the behaviour that we are seeing on a grand scale from a lot of major corporations who are fucking hell-bent on making more profit. That's it, more profit. So much more profit that it blinds everything else. This togetherness that everyone is crying out for, that people obviously, having been through what we've been through over the last year or whatnot, know is needed, is actually fucking irrelevant, lads. It's irrelevant. People are tweeting me and going, do you think that that's fair? Are you fucking delusional? We need to wake up and smell the coffee, yeah? It is actually hilarious that you think a club like Arsenal are going to release 15 kits. Go and have a look at Arsenal Football Club's website. Go and have a look at that colourful website with arsenaldirect.com pasted all over it. 7 shirts, 4 new hats, face masks, socks, Christmas gifts, stuff for her, him, stuff for everyone. It's a super mall. It's a supermarket. The club that you knew, or that I knew growing up, is long gone. Long gone. Plasticity rules this city. New badges, cannons facing the wrong way, weird fucking logos, bright colours for kids, neon kits. What the fuck has pink got to do with Arsenal? Pink and neon blue. Yeah? Come on. Why do we need this? Look, the game is about money, and the funniest thing about today for me has been the fucking hypocrisy involved. It is so easy to send people up the garden path, it's unbelievable. Obviously this is a fucking power grab, that goes without saying. Obviously this is a move that is going to affect a lot of people adversely. We are going to lose a lot of our history here. But what I like to encourage is a free thought, open discussion. Let's look at what's actually going on. Who is actually panicking here? Who is actually leading the charge against this? Probably more importantly, who stands to make the most money? Who stands to lose the most money? These are all things that you're taught when you look at the source to study. And the sources in this country are limited as fuck. Excuse my French, but they are limited. And we are feeding into an echo chamber. Put me right if you feel that I'm wrong, but this game has been gone for a long time, and I've been kidding myself. You've probably been kidding yourself. You know the truth deep down in your heart, but you still tune in. Your choice is so limited with regards to like the level of the punditry in this country. It's fucking questionable at best, but yet we cling on to people like Gary Neville, who has genuinely roused the people tonight. He's roused the people with a speech that will be tweeted and shared across social media for years to come. Yeah? Years to come. That will live long in the memory. Great speech. But like I said, let's just check the source for a second. Let's check the source. No one's even disputing what he's saying, but just look a little bit closer. Who stands to win? Who stands to lose? I'm looking at a man who's holding a Sky Sports microphone, and you're trying to convince me that he doesn't speak for Sky Sports. There is actually basically nothing that I disagree with in his message, but there is no way, for example, that all of these clubs would have made these moves without the promise of TV money already. Please wake up from your delusional state and face that fact. This deal has already been done for them to be speaking about it. There is genuinely no way, on the flip side, that Sky Sports will not be bidding to broadcast this tournament, this competition. Those are the facts. If you think otherwise, you're delusional. People said it's better the enemy you know. And I'm pretty sure that they said the same thing at the inception of the Premier League. I'm also pretty sure that if you gave them the option of the first option of broadcasting rights, they would snatch it up. It's quite possible to be fully against the European Super League and also to be able to call people out for slightly hypocritical stuff, because just by mere association, you really are privy to this. You have played your part in the destruction of football, bleeding fans dry, milking people, the working class man's game, you're trying to call it. That's fucking rich, with your big hotels, with your 6 years or 5 years on your remaining on your career contract while the Glazers were still there, and you're happy enough to take the money then, and you're happy enough to shut fans up while it suits you. That's fucking convenient. Sky Sports tried to mug people off while we're all sitting indoors with sweet fuck all to do but this for a distraction, giving us pay-per-view of £15 a game. You're a fucking disgrace. Calling people out is fucking rich now as well. The fact of the matter is, a big boy's coming with some big money. They've slapped their big willy on the table, and you know what? The others have said, we're not even sure we need you anymore. So of course you're panicking. The regime, the monopoly is under threat. These are the cold, hard facts. Now, as an aside, this is complicated. This is very complicated. This is layered. For years, other leagues have been missing out on hundreds of millions of pounds in TV sponsorship deal, and as a result, livelihoods are affected. Fat cats are not as fat as they want to be. La Liga are definitely looking at the Premier League and thinking, hang on a second, this can't go on for much longer. action needs to be taken. And of course, Florentino Perez is at the forefront of this. But look at these suckers. Look at these sheep. Look at these shameless frauds with nothing but profitability on your mind. You have killed the sport. You have killed it. It has long been dead. And I can speak as an Arsenal fan just temporarily here in saying, you have fucking embarrassed me tonight. I've got this in my blood. I can't get rid of it. I'll follow you to the fucking conference if I have to, with 4 men and a dog. But what you've done has embarrassed the fuck out of me tonight. You should be ashamed of the association with what you're involved in, because you've done nothing here, nothing really here, apart from side with those who have the root of all evil as their number one priority. We're all in need right now, and you're showing everyone you don't give a fuck. You just want to bleed us dry even more. Huh? It's crazy. It's actually crazy. We're going to go through exactly what is being said. This is the competition format that we're looking at. 20 participating clubs with 15 founding members and a qualifying mechanism for a further 5 teams to qualify annually based on achievements in the prior season. Notice that there is going to be no mention of relegation here. And this is the beauty of this Ponzi scheme that they're all feeding into. We cannot lose. We don't have to pay anyone else. It's all for us. Capital G, capital R, double fucking ED. The beauty of the English game and the stark contrast in which I hold and value the sports across the pond in, is it the pond? Is it, well, in the States, is that we have real history. I'm sorry if you're American and you don't like that, but it's a fucking fact. We have actual history. Hundreds of years of beautiful, tangible history etched into the fabric of the game. We also have what is as close to a sort of meritocracy as you're going to get. You are good, you will qualify and progress. In the States, if you're not in the MLS, if you haven't had the $200 million to buy your way in or whatever that price is now, you're fucked. Yeah. And if you're shit, as in if you're the worst team in the divisions, it's fucking irrelevant because you just go again next year. And you may well even be rewarded with a few of the best players with some draft picks. I've seen this happening over the God knows how much longer. When I landed in New York City, I saw what was going to happen in England. There's no denying that we just copy everything America does. We are sheep, the definition of sheep. Follow the leader. And of course, where other cultures with real history have complexity etched into the fabric, the religion in America is green. That's what they worship, money. And that's what we follow. That's who we love to copy. That's who we want to be. So here we are. We're going to be having VAR Budweiser adverts or whoever else it is adverts. Sponsored VAR breaks. Sponsored drinks breaks. Sponsored penalty shootouts. Each penalty could be sponsored by a different person. How many sponsors can you fit on a shirt? Sadly, my club is part of this. My club wants to be at the forefront of this. And there will be many who say, I love my club and I support my club to the end and this is going to benefit my club. We're doing what's best for us. Well, yeah, okay. That is great, really, isn't it? That's great for you. That's great for you. First things first, again, as an Arsenal fan, you don't fucking deserve to be there. It's an absolute joke. You're 9th in the league and you think you can buy your way into to the elite. You're a fucking embarrassment. You'll be bottom of the league every week. Okay. They're talking about it's funded by JP Morgan. Wow, incredible. $6 billion loans, $350 million or pounds for each club. Gifts. Of course they're going to be up for it. United only owe 445 or 47 million pounds, $500 million, £500 million, whichever one it is. That would nearly pay off everything. The 300 million to get in, then 100 million to, playing the games, the TV money. This is what this was all about. Midweek fixtures with all participating clubs continuing to compete in their respective national leagues. They're trying to carry on in the league like nothing's going on. And this is the most shocking thing. I was expecting this to happen in 2 years. An August start. Wow. We're in April, lads. An August start with clubs participating in 2 groups of 10 playing home and away fixtures, with the top 3 in each group automatically qualifying for the quarter-finals. Teams finishing 4th and 5th will then compete in a 2-legged playoff for the remaining quarter-final positions. A 2-legged knockout format will be used to reach the final at the end of May, which will be staged as a single fixture. Unbelievable scenes. Florentino Perez saying, "We will help football at every level." Well, that's fucking bullshit, isn't it? And take it to its rightful place in the world. Well, yeah. We'll see about that. And we move to the general discussion. Comments and questions coming up. But here is something else to consider. There are a few things we're going to have to consider. We're going to go through a lot of the tweets. A lot of people have been tweeting. We'll go through the questions that you've put in the chat as well. The Premier League was founded 20th of February 92, following the decision of clubs in the Football League First Division to break away from the Football League founded in 1888 and take advantage of a lucrative television rights deal. I mean, it's not quite the same, this. It's not quite the same, but it is very similar. And you can understand why people are equally as uncomfortable as, make no mistake, they were at the time. Lads, ladies, frauds in the chat. It's comments, it's questions. I'm going to go through them. I'm going to blitz through a couple. Steve Keogh, 1990. Much love for getting involved, mate. He says, when the Glazers took over Manchester United, I was scared that this would happen. That was over 15 years ago. How is this allowed? Taking clubs from fans, shocking. How is this allowed? We've allowed this to happen by inviting them in with the promise of new players, trophies, days out, glory, returns to the top, new stadiums, when actually it's about taking out bigger loans, using the club as assets, putting clubs in further debt, selling them for profit, using players as assets for profit. Commodities, that's what they are, basically, aren't they? Chelsea packing with loan signings, everyone's on loan. We've got 75 players on loan. It's generally a factory, and it works. It works. Roman Abramovich is a classic example of how throwing money at this game it has proven success. And of course, the temptation is too great for all those who feel like they are losing out on billions already and who feel like they will be further watered down by the changes that were being proposed by the new Champions League format, and I guess the international format that the World Cup is taking as well. It is shocking, Steve, but let's be honest, people have been vocal about this for quite some time, and players, managers, and the like of pundits that we all love have all shut those voices down. Not good fans, they were called. I seem to remember. Someone can quote me or not on that. Miko848 is in the chat. Much love for getting involved. Much love to everyone who is in the chat. There's plenty of you here. It's late night fraudulence, and we're going balls deep. Miko8848 says, Hugh, honestly, mate, football apocalypse has arrived. As a Manchester United fan, my club has been destroyed. I'm devastated. Where do we go from here? Okay. This is happening, lads. Yeah? This is happening. This has basically happened already. They've announced it's starting in August. UEFA, there is going to have to be compromise here. Perhaps the clubs are even putting super amounts of pressure on, hoping that the governing bodies cave. However, it's a reality, and I don't know where we go from here apart from either buying into it and carrying on as you were, or by making yourself so heard that they are forced to retreat. There is no other option, or there are no other options. You suck it up and take it and accept that this is happening, and you are powerless. If you think you have any say in the decisions that a billionaire makes, or multiple billionaires are making around a round table of money, then you are fucking delusional. You are a football fan. You are a commodity, and you will be milked until you are broke, and that is the end. Football goes on and on, doesn't it? Isn't it amazing how many games there are every day, non-stop, packed with action, left, right, centre, this competition, that one, watch this, watch that. It's a joke, right? Beautiful, beautiful skit someone sent me a few days ago, Mitchell and Webb, completely defining how this is out of control now. It's out of control. How the players are not just snapping, I don't know. How they don't break, I don't understand. When do they get a break? I don't think they do. They're workers. And JML in the chat saying, Bayern going to spank Arsenal 5-0 on a weekly basis. You know, I have said this on the stream about an hour ago, but I do know someone who worked at Sky. I hope they don't mind me mentioning this conversation, but I was told maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that Sky were not pulling in the numbers, viewing figures that they would have liked. And they were questioning going forward with the same deals, especially given the new competition with Amazon on their case, with Facebook looking down their throats, with so many different options and so many different packages now needed to watch all of the games. Some people are deciding, I can't afford to do that. I don't need to watch West Brom against Burnley. I would rather watch Bayern Munich against Manchester United. But it's a little bit like when you're a kid, right? Let me just give you an example of this, right? When I was a kid, I used to get in trouble for taking the chocolate out of the freezer. I used to take little squares, hazelnut chocolate, because we didn't really ever get sweets. Sweets aren't healthy, they're not good for your teeth. It's probably why my teeth are fucked now, and I've just loved sweets for so long. But I used to basically take a little bit of chocolate out and hope that, you know, I hadn't taken too much so that they'd notice. The fact of the matter is, more often than not, I got caught, and as a punishment, I used to have to sometimes sit there and eat the whole thing of chocolate, which you would think is a treat. I'll eat the whole thing of chocolate, and initially I thought, yeah, this is actually not that bad. There are worse punishments than me being a glutton over the thing that I was craving in the first place. But you know what? The third time around, I'm sick of chocolate. It's not special. I don't actually like chocolate anymore. I mean, it's all right. Don't get me wrong. It's nonsense. I do like chocolate, but not that much. Just like a Ferrero Rocher with an espresso. Beautiful. I'm done. Okay. Point being, these are for special occasions. The reason the Champions League is so revered, the reason it is so universally accepted as the elite competition is because it is special. It is rare. Because you have to qualify. You have to earn the right. And look, the truth is, earning the right has been done by the wealthy automatically. So it's not fair already, is it? You look at the Premier League and the way that it finishes, and it is almost always going to be in line with the wage structure, which means you pay and play, right? It's pay to win. It is pay to win. Patrick McQuaid in the chat saying, as an Everton fan, I feel stranded. Better than Arsenal, bigger than Spurs. The sport we love is dead. I mean, Spurs, are we having a laugh? Are we actually bubbling, Michael Bublé style? I mean, someone please make me understand. Make it make sense, at least. Varun Sharma saying, stop overreacting. I'd rather watch Manchester United versus Real Madrid than Manchester United versus West Ham. This is good for football. Makes it more competitive. Well, yeah, this is a polarizing topic, and this is going to make a competitive competition, make no mistake about it. It will be exciting, it will be dramatic, it will have top players, and there will be headlines galore and narratives. And what I need to educate your arse on is that there is more to this. The House of Cards is sort of dependent on the filtering through, the filtering down the line of the money that the Premier League has created. They've created that money at the expense of the rest. The reason why the lower league clubs struggle so much is because it is so difficult for them to compete with people who are so far away. It's society all over again. The rich are getting richer and the poor are going to die out. Used up. I look at how much I had to pay monthly for all the packages. We do Amazon just in case, but also so that we can order stuff. We do Sky. We get the sports package, and I get I think it's like an HD package. Now, look, that is my choice. I know I'm choosing to spend that money, but it is a lot of money. And what I want to stress to people is that there was a time not that fucking long ago when the fact is I could not afford that. And that is robbing people of football. That is robbing people of... This is why when I heard him say it is a working class man's game, it was not a working class... How can it be a working class man's game when you are... I pay about 200 quid. 200 quid a month for the fucking all the shit, all the games, right? And then they tried to add on £15 a game. Some people won't be able to do that. I get you can stream, but legally, some people won't be able to do that. And they should have the option to be able to do that if they choose to. You should not be pricing people out of football, not with the money that is in the game. It's fucking disgraceful. Ryan saying, Hugh, I'm in utter disbelief. I'm honestly on the verge of tears here. My club, Chelsea, might be banned from the Premier League. No. They need each other, though. They do need each other. They will compromise. I'm sure there will be a compromise. They need each other. That doesn't make sense, but it is crazy what is happening. Ali Zaidi saying, what if we treat this like governing bodies collabing to remove the top 1% from each league so every league can be fair? Shun Super League and call for PES-style clubs to form and replace the ones we lose. That is already happening. I have heard of a couple of football clubs that have been started over the last 2 years that are in direct response to the way that their current clubs have basically ended up. And if you, again, are old enough, and you don't have to be that old to remember, but this happened to Wimbledon. Wimbledon were sold to fucking, who was it? Tesco. They sold Wimbledon to Tesco. And then Asda and IKEA both came in to start Milton Keynes in fucking Buckinghamshire. They deleted that club and its history and turned it into a block of flats with, which has now got, I think, the names of players on each block. Much in the same way, I guess, as Highbury is now a fucking memory, you know? Ali Zaidi saying we're North London Red supporters now. Marcus Ward says Everton fan here, heartbroken, angry, embarrassed by the Big Six. Always loved your channel, finally joined. Real fans need to stick together. Much love to you, bro. I appreciate you for everything. This is a stressful day, I'm not going to lie, lads. This is a very, very precarious position for me as well, because I need to be able to, as CJ would say, free the realness. I need you to understand that the hard-hitting home truths that come out of my mouth are authentic, at least from my perspective. And the truth is, my truth is, that the game that I grew up loving has long since been gone. It's not a fair competition. It's certainly not been a fair competition for some time, but the playing field was actually manipulated by financial fair play. Let's not forget that financial fair play, well, we've got this fucking bald fraud on the screen, one of the biggest frauds out. Financial fair play was brought in specifically to protect the interests of the big clubs and stop anyone else having an opportunity, a say, a chance of success themselves. That goes against everything that competition stands for, does it not? At that point, football is dead. And this is one of the reasons that Newcastle fans right now are going to be fuming, absolutely fuming. This is evidence. This is actually, in, ironically enough, black and white, that the intentions were misguided, let's say. That they were being completely dishonest and just protecting their own interests. And those who are fervent sheep will say, and what? And what? This benefits my club. You've got to be able to read between the lines. It's very important. Good evening, Hugh, says Wellesian. Evening. As Spurs fans, this is utter fraudulence. I liked this club because we were underdogs, he says in inverted commas, and now we buy our way into Europe. It's a shame. The way you mess around with... Damola is in the chat as well. He says, I'm genuinely in shock. This doesn't feel real. Make no mistake. This is very real. I've been telling people this for a fucking while. A while. Who was it who kept sending me, West, I know you're out there listening. Yeah. I want an apology, bro. I'm a visionary. I'm never wrong. And if I am, it's not for a hot minute, because with new information, we reassess, regroup. And again, Alex Gregro says UEFA are talking about banning players from representing their international teams. So not only the leagues are going down, but the international teams will suffer. If you watch cricket, you will know that this has already happened. The international players are often tempted by the allure of, say, the Indian Premier League and the riches that you can make there in a short space of time. Career-changing, life-changing, potentially generational wealth for these guys. Would they rather sacrifice a test match or two, even if it is your first cap for your country, which could be the most proud day of your family's existence? All the culmination of your work for all those years, the training, the money invested, parents driving you back and forth to training, failures, broken bodies, all of that. You give it all up to represent the team that wears neon pink that was made up 2 years ago so that you can get your hands on the cash. This is why players are going to China for 10 times the wages for 2 years and coming back sorted. Hate me all you want, but I think there is an argument to say that that is the right decision for you, for the individual. For the football fan, it's a fucking disgrace. You have taken our trust, and it's misguided trust. I don't know why I trust you. There is no loyalty in football. There is no loyalty in life. People will sell their own mothers for money. Yeah? Caleb Brown says the game we knew growing up is gone. Jord MCHG saying Champions League and Europa have been suspended. Marcus Ward doesn't say anything, but he does support the channel, and for that I appreciate you. Alex Manukian. Is that Mancunian or is that Manukian? Wait. Alex Manukian, I think it is. He says, I hate the Super League. I hate the Super League. It doesn't exist yet, but I hate it. No, I hear you. UEFA have done this to themselves. I refuse to see UEFA as the good guys. Their greed has led to this. Utterly disgusted by all parties. Again, follow the money. We find the root of the problem. Who's panicking? The people that are losing control. Who's panicking? The people that have had the monopoly. The money just for. The control that these guys have had is frightening. The way that these guys have covered up corruption year upon year. The way that each tournament is potentially bought with God knows what, mulberry bags and brown envelopes. The evidence is there. The greed on both sides. Football clubs, players, sponsorship deals, all of this, all these guys, they're all guilty. And of course, money has ruined it. Money has ruined it. It's crazy how money has ruined it. Wow. Money will ruin a lot of things in life, you know. It really will. It will fix a lot of things if used properly. But wow, it will ruin a lot. It will leave a wake of destruction. And it cares for no one. There is no emotion involved in these people's decisions. These billionaires accumulate this amount of generational wealth by stepping on the little man, by using you as slaves, by actually taking away your free will with propaganda and mind manipulation, messages which you may not even be picking up on. They are right under your nose. Please wake up and smell the coffee. We're just pawns. Spectrums says football cronyism. Corporations using the pandemic as an excuse to exert power and non-governmental organisations resetting the world system for their benefit. Watch the US stock market, by the way. Spectrums, mate, I love the fact that we have such smart people, such open-minded people, people willing to have conversations, and people who are actually aware of what's going on. there's much truth in what you say. Alex Holt says, man, I'm so gutted as a Norwich fan. Yesterday, we had the excitement of promotion, extremely well deserved. Need to be congratulated for sticking to the guns. He also says, now the potential death of my club. Hunter saying, Champions League and Europa have been cancelled. Is that the current Champions League? Hold on a second, because this is clearly breaking news for that ass. This may well be happening in front of our eyes. UEFA has not suspended the Champions League and Europa League. And that is from a source I do trust. It won't suspend it as the key dates need to be fulfilled for the contractual purposes, TV and sponsorship. Well, would you fucking believe it? Would you actually believe it? It writes itself, does it not? Have a look at this. UEFA has not suspended the Champions League and Europa League. Again. It won't suspend it as the key dates need to be fulfilled for the contractual purposes, TV and sponsors. So money, basically, again. It's incredible, isn't it? I'm blown away. But we're way too late, bro. We're way too late. We have little to no control. And unless there is some kind of revolt, there is not going to be any kind of change. I'm certainly not kidding myself about that. Sonny Nettlingham says, boycott or would everyone watch it anyway? Don't kid yourself. We're all going to watch it. It's quite funny, actually. The Jake Paul fight was a good example of this. We all know this is a nonsense. We all know this is a massive fraud who is chasing clout and really could bring the sport into disrepute. I'm sure that there are plenty who would not want the association, but there are plenty who will sell their souls for an Instagram like. Plenty. The money on offer for a lot of these guys now, if you entertain this type of clout, is greater than the pride that they would hold on to if they were to say no. There's been plenty of fraudulence on show recently in sport, and we are clearly more about entertainment. We are clearly more about the biggest show, the biggest noise. And if that means that you're clicking on something that you know is going to be absolute trash, but you are still fascinated, intrigued by the whole charade, then those numbers are picked up on by people that see that as profitability, and they will capitalize, and that is where we're heading. It's a farce. It's all a joke. The actual sport that we want to see, we're often denied. And we are having our history, as we've said, stolen from under our eyes. These two things, do they go together? I don't know. Sandeezy Breezy says, the fact that these club owners' boards thought there would be anything less than seething outrage just shows how completely out of touch they are. Taylor Thomas saying, riots outside of Anfield, the 96 would be ashamed. Wow. Are you not ashamed? I cannot even pretend to buy into this. I cannot associate myself with this type of fraudulence in these times. People have lost their jobs left, right and centre. People are struggling more than ever before. There is about to be a storm hitting. The realisation that plenty of businesses are not going to recover. And in front of everybody's eyes, under everyone's nose, whilst we were sat there. First you tried it, and then you just announced it. It's shameful, really, and the direction we're going in is only going to be downhill in terms of authenticity, in terms of community, in terms of your club recognizing and understanding you as a fan. We need you to click to buy kits. I'm really worried about where things in general concerning football clubs are going. Have you noticed a growing trend of support for filtering what people say? There is an attack on free speech happening right now, make no mistake about it. And these clubs would love to be living in a social media world, for example, where they do not have to deal with any negativity, any troll responses, anything that makes their brand less profitable or potentially could be viewed in some kind of detrimental way. Make no mistake about it. We have encountered issues and will continue to encounter issues of social distortion, racism, etc., etc. Stopping people from speaking their minds really only allows this type of thing to happen without questioning. And it does need questioning. I can be convinced, but I need to hear the arguments. And more importantly, I don't think I can be convinced. These people are only about money. I think there will be 1 out of every 5, 10, maybe 15, 20 owners who actually have a vested interest in football, whereas all of them are interested in their money. They have bought into the idea that this potential deal that has just happened is so lucrative, they need to be involved. And that's why, on the flip side of that, I can see the panic that's going on with everybody else. They've lost out on a massive deal here. Massive. Scrambling. Everyone is scrambling. Dennis Singleton says, Hugh, you should stop being an Arsenal fan and become a Sunderland fan. It'll be a better time. It's questionable, but we'll see. Joseph Jimenez Silveira saying, fellow Arsenal fan here, Hugh, this is the beginning of the end of football. That's not true. And it's being backed by money and only that. No respect for these owners. It's not the beginning of the end of football. This is like the middle of the end of football, I think. It could well also be the beginning of more football, just not as we know it. When you go to America, and please correct me if you feel like I'm wrong, but I really felt while I was there that people were associating with players more than teams, happy to wear various franchise shirts. 1 week a Cavaliers shirt, 1 week a Miami shirt, 1 week a Lakers shirt. Who knows what you'll be wearing next week? All chasing the player more than the history of the team, because the history of the team is actually quite limited. It only goes back so far. We actually have history here, but we are willing to risk it all to wipe the slate clean and go again. And we've done it before and it worked out beautifully. Make no mistake, you bought into the Premier League and you are trying to convince yourself that the Premier League is the best product right now. In the same way that they would have convinced themselves that there is an incredible amount of money to be made and this is the best opportunity to do so. What can we do, really? We can't even go to the fucking grounds to boo or to say no or to hold up a banner or to stand at the gates, because in groups more than 6 we'll be thrown out. It's perfect, isn't it? Or am I reading too much into that? Jacob Self saying, genuinely, what happens to clubs from Holland? Holland are going to merge in a league with Belgium, apparently. Who knows what's going to happen in Russia, Turkey, He says, no European football for Ajax, PSV, Galatasaray, Zenit, St. Petersburg, unfettered greed. Jacob, respect for these people who are making these decisions has long since gone. We have had people, the president of FIFA himself is being dragged through court as we speak. I repeat, dragged through court as we speak. We cannot trust any of the people that are running this game. No respect is a given. Dennis Singleton. I don't know if I could do that, but I hear you. Darby Correas says to all the teams that joined the league, thank you for thinking of us, the fans. I guess that's a sarcastic one. It's a sad day for football. Joseph Benjamin saying, football is nothing without the fans. I want to comment on that, but I'll finish reading the quote first. He also says, the best way is to fight this with your wallets. Let's get that cock and balls off the screen for a bit, shall we? It's been there for a bit long next to my face. It's a bit claustrophobic. We don't want to catch fraudulence. Do you know what I mean? Contagious. To all the teams that joined the league, thank you for thinking of us, the fans. It's a sad day for football. That was Derby. Joseph saying football is nothing without the fans. Much love to everyone who's dropping these comments as well. The best way is to fight this with your wallets. Do not support this abomination. Sanctioned clubs involved. Listen, mate. Listen. That is beautifully put, but unfortunately quite unrealistic, because what these people know is that they have a grip on us. These people know that even though I can sit here spieling this fraudulence for 2 hours straight, giving you the cold, hard-hitting home truths, I will still be back on a Saturday afternoon watching these donkeys mess it up yet again. They know that. I can't stay away. And as a result, they've taken advantage of that year upon year upon year, mugging fans off, convincing us that they are doing their best to get back to the top, making promises of us being on the level of the elite clubs like Bayern Munich and being in the mix for the major trophies. This is for Arsenal specifically, but it goes for basically every other club apart from Chelsea and Manchester City and perhaps even Liverpool. The fact of the matter is that the reason those clubs have been so successful is because the model is built for them. The more money you throw at this problem, the better. Let's not pretend that the Premier League itself has not been completely marketed to favour the likes of Manchester United throughout that early double-decade period of dominance. Please, come on. Even United fans can accept that. It's just like the shop, right? You own the business. Your most successful product, you are going to market heavily because you know that's what brings in the most money. It's fucking common sense, right? Divine Chandrapala, much love for getting involved. He says, I agree with you. This will happen. It makes economic sense. There will be a bailout that provides a quick single payoff for all EFL clubs that need it. And even in that, if you do your homework, not that long ago, the EFL was not the EFL, was it? What have we been for? God, how long is it? It's like 800 years or more. They've sold out for sponsorship. Because they needed to, I guess. Suffocated by the Premier League. It is quite sad, but this is the reality. The bailout is going to be insignificant in comparison to what these clubs are going to be making, of course. Just by being involved, you are finishing off other clubs. Talking about he's going to share the money. What an absolute joke. Marcus Ward says, always hoped, dreamed I would see Everton in the Champions League one day, never mind win it and rise to the top. Can you imagine being a West Ham fan right now? Can you imagine that? What is the point in this season? I watched that game. When was it? I can't even remember. When was that game? I watched the Sheffield United game and I just thought, I don't even know why I'm watching this. I'm buying into this because I sort of have to. This is nonsense. You've mugged us off all season, year upon year. I've seen the results of it's cause and effect. You put a little in, you get a little out. You've milked us and the club, tried to transform us into something we're completely not. It goes against everything we are. And we've lost sight of who we are. That quote, Rocky Rocastle, is something that is synonymous with this club, but I don't even recognise the club. The Bundesliga is so refreshing in terms of the way it's run. We could learn a thing or two from other leagues. Willis saying, Hugh, I'm seething. I've supported Manchester City my entire life. They're throwing 120 years of history down the drain, and they've the effing nerve to announce this in the middle of the season. I'm disgusted. Alex saying this is why 50+1 rule in the Bundesliga is so important. That is exactly what I was alluding to just a second ago. Nico AA saying, I can watch Manchester United versus Real Madrid during the ICC, the International Champions Cup, in the summer. It's nothing but a money grab. 3.5 billion to Arsenal to help with COVID. Eric Graves saying, the only way my Spurs are giving Kane Europe, so desperate. I'll painfully cheer for another club. Thank you for all you do. Wow, incredible. Tommy Castillo. Will people actually do that, though? This is the problem. I reckon that they are so convinced that we have no choice but to buy into this that we eventually will. When the first game of a European Super League happens in August, I have to make a video on it. I have to. That is the biggest thing in football. But I cannot do that without feeding into it. It's the same way as there came a time when, you know, buying football kits as a man is just like embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? You can't wear football kits as a man, or if you can, then you're exactly what the club are looking for. At some stage, you've got to work it out, lads. It's a beautiful thing, this game, but it's been really tainted by the love of money. And yeah, it's, I guess, what's made the game improve, the quality of player improve, the quality of production, everything involved in it has meant that it has thrived at the top. Anyway, Magic Mouse Media saying, am I delusional to set up a petition, Hugh? Unfortunately, mate, yes, you are, really. I mean, you're wasting your time, basically. Petition? Like what? What are we talking about? So that they have to talk about this in the House of Commons, is that what it is? They talked about this with the Premier League in the House of Commons and they threw it out. So, I mean, it's no different here. What benefits the government is what benefits the fat cats. More wealthy people in the country making more money means more taxable revenue, which means more profit for those guys themselves. It's a fucking perpetual cycle, mate. We are genuinely not going to be able to get out of this because of the power of the people involved in it. A petition is, it's nice, good work, nice, like a poll on Twitter. It's really, it is nice. It proves a point that there is a voice out there that really is against it, but it has no impact whatsoever. I don't think. I think this is way bigger than the minions that we are. Omar Barry saying, first they increased the World Cup to 48 teams and now the European Super League. As a football obsessed fan like you, football slowly dying to me. I reckon the older you are, the more football has died already, because you would have seen what it was more so. I spoke to someone day before yesterday, I believe, or yesterday even, who was 17, I think he was 16 or 17 years old, and an Arsenal fan. And as a result, he'd never even seen Arsenal win the league. So his view of what Arsenal are is different, just by way of experience. Some people are sick and tired of not being involved, and they will do anything to be involved. Lots of people are baiting you online as well. Please be aware of that by saying, "Oh, big club, massive club, we are gargantuan." Don't buy into it. Of course, it's one way of looking at the world. Have a positive outlook on the world, and this is just the next thing that you've got to buy into. Just the same way as, Coca-Cola releasing a new drink. Some people are going to try it and like it. Hopefully you can see past that as well. It is important that the truth is at least spoken, even if it isn't acted upon. Okay, next up we've got let's get through these. Okay, SM67 says, Wizzy, I'm sick to my stomach. Arsenal's tweet speaks volumes. Why are Manchester United so quiet? Let's actually go over to have a look at good God, where are we? The Arsenal tweet. Let's just have a look at Arsenal. Okay, here we are. We are one of the 12 founding clubs of the European Super League. Beautiful scenes, incredible. Proud, just unashamed, just out here, just announcing it to the world. We are the guilty. We love the money. John Luke Resells has said, Perez has said, and this is Florentino Perez, has said he will create his own World Cup. Good God almighty, wow. That wouldn't surprise me either. Alper Elbeer says, from Sky Sports making games pay-per-view to owners' mindsets coming to the media, once share prices increase, we will hear a new and changed media. Indeed. It's good to know there's people that are awake. XVG Dylan saying, what does the Premier League and FA do to these clubs? Kick them out and allow more championship clubs to come up? I don't know. I guess they'll be scrambling around, panicking, coming up with a plan for that and hoping that they don't have to do that, because if the Premier League lose X amount of clubs, the Premier League lose a lot of its allure. Also, they lose a lot of their marketability. That would be bad for other European leagues. It is not good for football in general. It is just good for these 12 clubs and whoever else is going to be involved. Nick Gilliver saying, I'm a Lincoln City fan and my club will be gone within the next 10 years. It's disgusting. Can't wait to watch Arsenal versus Barcelona in Kuala Lumpur. Impulse saying, don't forget that UEFA has responded to the Super League way quicker than obvious and horrendous racism from Slavia Prague. I mean, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? Nicholas Bentner was fined, I believe, £200,000 for wearing a betting company's pants, a betting company's logo on his pants. Yet, actual guilty parties who have been caught doing actual madness that is not acceptable in society and will get you a smack in the mouth and cancellation from public in general, are getting off scot-free. 3-match bans for the victims of racism. We are fucking lost. We're lost. Michael Shekels says, Big Six fans angry. Put your money where your mouth is and support a smaller club. Walk away from the Big Six. Who in the chat would be willing to walk away from their club? Please do let me know. Entertain me. I just would love to see how many people out here are genuinely capable of separating themselves from the one thing that has kept us. I mean, look, Arsenal are basically the one constant that I've had in my life for living memory. There is nothing else that is as consistently there, that is there for me and I am there for it. Not over that long space, a period of time. I'd love to know what people are saying about this. A lot of people saying me, I'm ready to walk away. I want to see this then. I want to see this. I want to see action. I want to see people actually taking other interests, finding a local club. Like you said, putting your money where your mouth is. Let's see it. Because there are plenty of us out here who will struggle to separate themselves from what is in our blood. I have walked the streets of Islington throughout my life. It is etched into me, into my heart, into my very being. How we are, actually, let me just read the fucking realness. Arsenal have not been relegated from the top league since they were voted in to the top league, right? This is where, I guess, the rivalry with Spurs initially comes from, in that what had happened was, I think this is First World War time, 1914-15. Obviously, you've got the cancellation of football, and when they regroup at the end of the war, Arsenal were in the Championship and they were 6th. Amazing, isn't it? It's like now. They were in the Championship 6th and they got voted in to the top league. They were in Division 2, I guess it would have been called then. They got 18 votes to 9. Tottenham were the other potential candidates because they had been relegated in controversial fashion. It's also worth noting that Manchester United would have been relegated from the top division that season had they not fixed their game against Liverpool. It is widely accepted that that game was fixed to save them from relegation. The game is fucking full of fraudulence, lads, and has been since the beginning. It is full of fraud. And it is full of people who are chasing more money. That is, I guess, the beauty of capitalism, isn't it? But obviously, the creation of the wealth means you're creating the poverty. One cannot exist without the other. One actually feeds off the other. So, yeah. Sad scenes of unglorious emotion. Will you walk away from your club? 90% of fans will stay, and the owners of these clubs know this, says Chris Cogdill. They'll make up for whatever small amount of ticket revenue that's lost through price increases due to the novelty of it all. And the fucking funniest thing about this is you're listening to these pundits who are multi-millionaires telling you it's a working class man's game and that the game is gone when they've played their fucking part in killing it themselves for God knows how long. They are actually part of the vehicle that day by day is the source of the problem. Sorry to say this, but when I hear people on TV telling me that football is nothing without fans, I find it so ironic, so ironic that football is carried on perfectly well without fans, and we are expected to carry on as normal, paying top whack. Pulse Blade says, last week, Rio told Newcastle fans to buy their club from Mike Ashley. Life comes at you fast, indeed. Basically, we go to everyone that agrees and cough on the owners, money-grabbing people, says Caden Polling. Aman Akhtar saying, what are your thoughts on Perez saying they'll make their own World Cup? It's a breakaway. If they're being threatened, I guess they threaten back because they know that they really do hold the cards. We need those clubs for the leagues to hold the same kind of, or to be held in the same regard. Who else have we got in the chat? Let's just go through these now. Bruh says, Sky and BT Sport are trying to run PR, talking about how the game is gone, even though they made us pay £15 for games like Burnley against Sheffield United. White Owl, much love to you, bro. You are the newest member of the True Fraud Gang Members Club, and you are massively appreciated. Scott Johnson says, if the Big Six are outed from the Premier League, does this mean that 6 teams are promoted from the Championship? And as a Saints fan, Champions League, here we come. I think that's slightly wishful thinking. The Dirty Aussie says, this is absolute bull, mate. Spineless knobs. And to do this during the season as well, I actually don't care if they kick us out of the Europa League. Dan Rue says, I'm only 16, so I never saw the glory days, but hearing how my dad was talking about this today as if he's lost his passion, love for Arsenal, is heartbreaking. I really empathise with that. I empathise with it so much so that I can seriously remember a time when it was genuinely unforgivable for a player wearing my club shirt to not be giving their all, because given the players that we had on our books and given the mentality of those, they would not have let that wash. They would have had you up in the changing room by your fucking neck and told you exactly what was what and who you represented and what was at stake. Nowadays, we have genuinely spoilt kids who have never struggled for or wanted for anything in their lives. Their muddy-cuddled lives. Oh, wow. Incredible. Every single thing they could ever desire and more. By the time they're teenagers, they know nothing of the struggle then. Somehow that has translated into, and don't get me wrong, it's a generalization. There are strugglers, there are workers, there are hustlers, there are grinders. All of them who have made it successfully as footballers are grinders. But there is also genuinely a knowledge amongst players now that this is a viable source of incredible income and that you only really need to keep afloat, to keep the bank balance ticking over very nicely. That is also the case at the top. Because these guys are watching and thinking, qualification for Europe is plenty. That gets us the money we need. Not, it's a competition, it's a race to the finish line. Let's go, let's try and win. Amazing that you could start at the beginning and already be saying, fourth would be good. Fourth would be good, but why would it be good? Why? For who? I saw this a while ago and I had been buying into it. It's not necessary for this league to even actually happen for you to see the truth. The fact that it's being announced now should make an embarrassment of everybody who tried to bottle this off as, oh, conspiracy theorist, that never going to happen. You will find out very quickly by supporting a football club that as much as you can support and as much as you will lay your life on the line for those Dons and be there day in, day out, waking up at 2, 4, 6 in the morning to watch games, buying hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds worth of kit, season tickets for thousands of pounds, travelling all over the country and Europe and wherever the fuck else, tours all around the world. Follow us day in, day out, week in, week out, fucking hour on replay, on site, more, take more. I'm almost done. Cellar Dweller saying, Spurs fan here. What do you do here? supporting your home team, he grew up 3 miles from White Hart Lane, isn't a choice. It's a birthright. I love that. It's a birthright, not a choice. This is the beauty of this business plan, right? Imagine, right? Every successful business has to have a certain amount of loyal customers. Those are the most successful. If you want to have a successful YouTube channel, you need a certain amount of people to really buy into or support what you're doing. Much love to everyone who has supported me throughout my journey. These football clubs have these ready-made, widespread, global communities now, but especially those who are obsessed, those who are so tied in, so dialed in that they know no other way. It's a perfect business model if you've got the money, in terms of you don't actually need to do much. You can kind of allow things to take their course, and slowly but surely we are being turned into the colourful, all singing and all dancing American sports market. It's so sad to see. Giorgio Copeland is in the chat. He says, I'm not for the Super League in his first message. He has left another message, which I am looking for right now. Where are you, mate? Jack McGuffey saying players should go against their teams and fans should get behind their players. As much as I love Arsenal, this is wrong. SM67 saying, I'm sick to my stomach. Arsenal's tweet speaks volumes. Why are Manchester United so quiet? I think I've read that one already. Mike Harneman saying, greedy, selfish and incompetent owners who don't give a toss about the Arsenal or the fans. Same as you. Kroenke has always been about the money. Oh, I'm an Arsenal fan, same as you. Kroenke has always been about the money. Chris Lowe says, if this European Super League goes ahead, how long before Arsenal versus Manchester United takes place in Miami, or the final is in Saudi Arabia to sports wash that regime? Mate, we're watching it happen with other sports already. They're talking about AJ against Fury in Saudi Arabia. Please explain it to me. Make it make sense. What is the issue with filling out a 90,000 capacity stadium, which we have at our disposal here, for the fans who have created you, who have built you to these superstars that you have turned into? Unbelievable, unashamed moves when the positions that you are in could genuinely change the world already. Alan 5 says, notice no Bundesliga clubs, a league with integrity. I think that remains to be seen, but so far they seem to be against it. Let's not forget that the majority, it's a 51% fan thing, so it is also going to be their voice which is heard the loudest. The money men are kind of outsung there, but that is a beautiful thing. Michael the coffee drinker saying, I was a Liverpool fan since I was 5 years old, and now to see my club going down this route makes me feel betrayed and disgusted. No, I hear you, but every club is guilty. Liverpool are guilty as well. Arsenal are massive frauds, but I know stuff about Liverpool and what they've done to local communities and how they have tried to drive up crime rates and local property prices down so that they could buy out that land and build to expand the stadium. They should be ashamed of themselves. Do your homework if you know you know. No one gets away with this. You'll never walk alone. You're a fucking liar. You're a liar. Because you want me to live alone, be homeless and sleeping next to crack fiends. That's the fucking truth. So that you can make more money. Scum. Sorry, say it like it is. And that's nothing against you, Michael. But I feel you. We are being betrayed and I feel disgusted. But this is not new. This is why this mad uproar, this suddenly like... it's a disgrace. It's a working man's game. You're killing the game. No, bro. You've been fucking feeding into the killing of the game for God knows how long. You should be ashamed that you didn't speak up when you had the fucking chance to. Who am I? Who's listening to me? Fucking nerve of some people who will say whatever the fuck will get them likes and support. Do you know what? I've seen so many fucking footballers do U-turns and drop their morals, drop everything about them so that they could be in tune with what the general fucking population was saying. You're all sheep. You're all fucking sheep. You're as guilty as everybody else. You're all involved. You are complicit. Imagine listening to a fucking Nazi doing an announcement wearing a Nazi uniform and not thinking it's the same fucking opinion. You represent the oppressive. Let's see you make a difference. Let's see you really stand up. Let's see you turn down that money when DAZN come with a big deal. Let's see if you're involved. I want to see who turns down DAZN deals. That's what I want to see. Who's turning down the big bag? Because you really believe that football is the working man's game. Let's fucking see it. Mauricio Rosero. Much love for getting involved. Hugh, this feels like the plans FIFA have to expand from 32 to 48 teams. It's a shame if that happens because it ruins the prestige of the competition. I don't know why I'm bringing his face up and him into it. Look, he's top class. He is actually the closest thing to decent punditry that we've got in this country. And I maintain, I'm not saying that he said anything wrong. I'm saying that we have to question the source. Look at the source for a second. They are as guilty. They are complicit in this, and they would be at the fucking forefront of this money-grabbing opportunity if they had the opportunity. Please make sure you understand. Oh, that's a joke as well, isn't it? Get those. They don't go together. Fucking, oh, mate, it gets worse. It gets worse. Moed Charlie, I hope I've pronounced that right, mate. He's left a great comment and he has said, this is why in America we prefer college sports. That is it. That is it. Listen to this, right? Imagine a situation where I've landed in New York City dreaming of going to America all my life to see what I thought was a place where they were so supportive of sporting talent in general, just a supportive people in general. They really do back their own. They are incredibly positive as a nation, in my opinion. I love to have grown up there and gone to school there. I know that sounds funny, but if you are a sportsman, they back their own. Nowhere else more so than in the collegiate system, where some people follow it more than the actual main event. So you might watch, I don't know, like an NCAA and study the stats of who's going to be the next LeBron and who is the next big thing with as much excitement, if not more, as the actual playoffs with LeBron James. And the reason for that is because it is closer to that meritocracy that we were talking about. It is closer to a true competition where everybody is playing for their lives. Everybody knows that their careers are at stake. That performance that you give in that game right now could well mark out your next 10 years. At 18, you could well be thrown a £90 million contract. Maybe younger. I don't know what LeBron was. There is something special about that. Real competition. And that is unfortunately lost in the places like the NBA, where I've seen teams approaching half season saying, do you know what? This isn't going too well. Fuck it. Fuck it, I'm off. I've had enough. Let's just, let's pack it in, right? Let's actually lose all the rest of our games, because if we do, come bottom especially, we're going to get gifted draft picks. Then we can actually get the best players. Look, it's exciting. It's bright. It's colourful. It's lively, it's non-stop action and drama and new whatnot going on everywhere. It's soulless. It's empty. And that's not going to change with people like this in control, I don't think. People like this have made it their mission to be ruthless about their business. And they are extremely ruthless. Wow. I think this man's actually hated across America. In various places, he is seen as a bit of an antichrist. Someone who has smashed through local communities, torn down history, ripped up the book and tried to start it again at his own tempo. Obviously for his own profit. The spirit of competition, fairness and sport is going down the drain, says Imran. Furthermore, it's disrespectful to fans that have built up and sustained the club. I hate what football is becoming. Thank you, Imran, for getting involved. Listen, if you could do me a favour, I know there's a few of you in here. Go and retweet my pinned tweet, please. Go and share the stream. I know there's plenty of stuff that I've talked about already tonight that you can touch upon, that you can relate to. Please do invite people to join the channel. Get involved in the fraud gang. We are a growing collective with a bright and active Discord where we have plenty of daily football discussions. And listen, if you are in that Discord, be nice to the new people, because if I see you being a fucking clot, I will ban you without fucking thinking, right? I've spotted a couple of the frauds. You're on Fraud Watch and you will be cancelled and exposed, all right? The rest of you, you make this community what it is. And it's important that we have community like this, because I'm sorry to say this, I look at even my timeline and I'm worried about how simple-minded fools are. I'm worried about how easily people will be sucked into this. I'm worried about how people question absolutely nothing that is put in front of them, how we are just sucking up and letting things happen to us. Life is being reset in front of our eyes. Drew honestly saying, if you think with your wallets, if you think your wallets matter, they print money so they can't fail. Okay. We are powerless, I'm pretty sure. We can agree on that. Rebez V2 saying, all football is rotten. Can't forget West Ham voting to null the league last season so they wouldn't get relegated. Incredible. Ali Zaidi saying Bayern and Leipzig are apparently in. Porto potentially in. Okay, the first Bundesliga team that we can speak of. Houston Texans Talk says this league will be better than your fire behind you. Listen, mate, the lights are looking a bit fraudulent. Right? I'm not going to lie. We'll sort the lights out now. What's going on? What's going on, people? There we go. Is that a bit better? Yeah, that's a bit better. The fire behind me is burning brightly. But I'm a little bit like, I feel a little bit like the little character in the meme. I don't know what that... Do you know? He's got headphones on. There's a meme with a dude in a fire. He's just sitting there going, everything's fine. It's all fine. I feel a little bit like that. Helpless. Just kind of allowing this to happen. But I have a platform. I hope that you are open to the conversation at least. Perhaps you think that this is a good thing. Maybe you can convince me otherwise, you know? Anyhow. Harry Saratov saying Earth and humanity need a new socio-economic system, not communism or capitalism, but something that is not based on perpetual greed. Football was my escapism, but nothing is sacred. Mate, bless you. Bless you. You are in tune. Incredible. I could not have said that better, really. Football was my escapism, but nothing is sacred. Things change. We grow. We learn. We live. And... look, perhaps this can still be salvaged. Perhaps there is something there that we can make of this. But look, it's looking extremely worrying. Fahim786 says, it doesn't matter how many people stop buying season tickets. The owners know thousands of people will jump at the chance of taking someone's place. There was recently up to an 8-year waiting list at Arsenal, so that much I know to be the case, even though obviously things haven't been going that well for Arsenal recently. It makes no difference. There is, like you say, always someone who is willing and able to take your place. Michael Sheckles saying, silence and blackball a player over speaking out over the Uyghur human rights at the direction of the CCP, and at the very same time support of BLM because it's financially beneficial to do so. They have no spine. It's all for show. Jesus Christ Almighty, thank the Lord. I was worried, I was genuinely worried that I was living in a chamber where people were not able to see past what is going on. Thank the fucking Lord that people of all races, cultures, creeds, religions, anything, everybody, there is someone out there of all walks of life who has been able to see past this absolute bullshit. It is unbelievable how many people have bought into it. I have felt suffocated by the inability to... I can't even feel comfortable bringing it up because people feel that that is not important. It is more important to get Ozil off the books, save player wages so that we can put those into the transfer chest, the war chest, you fucking idiot. Do you think that that money is going into a transfer chest? Wake the fuck up. Unbelievable. When really and truly, we are starting to see news filter out from major corporations where they have done serious investigations that prove that he was bang on the money and that it was exposing some of the most criminal activity going on out here. Allegedly. Some things are bigger than fucking football. Giorgio Copeland saying this probably doesn't change much. And let me just say that on Michael Sheckles. Follow the money. Who was affected by what had been said? Whose business was hurt? Whose marketability was potentially jeopardized in another country? Massive, profitable sponsorship deals that had not been paid. Remember, put the pieces together. Premier League payments were missed by Chinese sponsors. Huge payments, hundreds of millions of pounds they were talking about missing. You don't think these things are connected? Mad. Giorgio Copeland saying this probably doesn't change much. 20 teams, most of them stay the same, like the Premier League. The NBA's had a similar situation, don't forget it. Houston had a very similar situation. You can't say the wrong thing. You can't say the wrong thing. Allegedly. There'll be a time in the not too distant future where you won't be able to say anything. We're moving into a stage actually where it's dangerous to have any other altering opinion from the one that aligns with the mass. But for what it's worth, whilst I still can, we will be thinking critically and we will be vocalising those thoughts. AJ, much love to your mother for getting involved. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman. I hope you're letting her know. Charlie Parkman says, since when do clubs decide that they deserve to be super? The whole point of football, of sport, is to earn it. Beautifully said. JML saying Arsenal made 55 redundancies while simultaneously discussing a £350 million payment to join this creepy elitist commercial cult. Absolutely embarrassing. Sean Sheridan saying, no offence mate, but how do Arsenal deserve an automatic place in Europe over other teams who are better? Chelsea fan and I love my club, but I am done with football. This is the death of football. I love how he says, no offence mate. It's not an offence to me, mate. It's a fucking joke that Arsenal think that from 9th that they are deserving of European football or being in the same sentence as the word elite, super, champions. You're fucking laughing at what? You're laughing at us. It's making a mockery of sport, competition. This is the complete opposite of meritocracy. Vishnu Jayaprakash saying, what does it mean to be an Arsenal fan? I don't believe in rewarding mediocrity and Kroenke profiting off of the legacy of legends like Wenger, Dean, Graham, Wright and Henry. David Dean, who... good God. Yeah. Make sure you do your history, lads, okay? You have to study history because that's the only way that we can learn and stop ourselves from repeating the cycle. Please go and read up on who sold the club, yeah? Who actually, who started the process of our Donny here. Sad times. Your heroes will probably either die just that or live long enough to actually end up the villains, right? Greg Zigme saying, Q in the All-Star weekend in Dubai next season. I mean, yes. Why are Manchester United quiet? Says SM67. He says, was Ole embarrassed when he was asked? I haven't seen that interview. Maybe you can link me to it. Nick Greco saying, been a Liverpool fan for 10 years, but this ends that. I mean, I'm amazed that people can actually walk away from their clubs. I question whether you were actually real fans anyway, or whether I'm just fucking weak. Because it's like a drug. It's like faith. It's like a religion. How are you walking away from the faith? I guess if I think about that for a second, I will walk away from the faith if it is killing me, and if I work out that there are lies to it, yeah, I would walk away from it. It would be very difficult though, because my trust is with the higher up, is with Arsenal as the thing. Arsenal are the thing, right? What's actually happened is you've got these humans, these men. Men are fucking liars. They're thieves. They're deceitful, manipulators. They've taken control of the thing and they are masquerading as the thing itself. They're the representation. They are our representatives. You don't represent me, you don't speak for me, but you're happy to milk me. It's a dangerous place to be in, because what we love and hold so dear to us is in the hands of people whose intentions are clearly quite different to our own. Mohammed Mehio saying, Hugh, you're not walking away from Arsenal if the Arsenal you know is already gone. Oh, okay, right. Hugh, you're not walking away from Arsenal if the Arsenal that you know is already gone. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not walking away from Arsenal. Arsenal walked away from us. That's how it is. Yeah? We've been here, mate. Plenty of people, myself included, other YouTubers included, lots of fans worldwide have vocalized their support of a movement that says, we don't want you here. That's the fucking truth. Plenty of people will take anything but what is here right now. But it isn't what it was already. Jack Alexander saying, imagine the scenes of a Premier League title race without the top 6 teams. Dajo, sorry. Sometimes I'm a little bit dyslexic. I don't know what the fuck that is. Dajo RAF saying, pure capitalism is slowly taking over football. In a couple of years, the clubs will start selling their players' nudes to the fans. Wow, incredible. OnlyFans, clubs, OnlyFans, is that going to be a thing? Scott Johnson saying, if the Big Six are outed from the Premier League, does this mean 6 teams are promoted from the Championship? We've read that one already. Or have you just typed that twice? Where are we next? Edward Taylor saying, here before the London Reds play the Madrid Mavericks in Beijing in 2023. You're laughing, but that's been a thing for so long. What is that comedy sketch? Someone will know this. What is that comedy sketch where Americans take over the football and it might be an advert even. It might have been a Budweiser advert that was taking the piss out of themselves. I'm not sure. Was it a parody sketch or was it an actual advert where they said it was like the Middlesbrough Marvels against I can't remember, the London Lions, something like that. It was fucking like, what is going on? This is actually about 15, 20 years ago as well. So this has all been in the works for a long time. Shane Maguire saying Villarreal versus Roma in the Europa League final. PSG win the Champions League. I've lost my love for Arsenal completely. Charles Meltzer saying, put your money where your mouth is right. Hoping the Bundesliga will be bigger than the Super League next year. Oliver Cruden, you are the newest member of the Fraud Gang Members Club, and you are massively appreciated. You're a massive fraud. Admiral says, I live in America, and I've been a Liverpool fan for over a decade now. No American sports league gives the passion or entertainment that the Premier League or Champions League has. This Super League would become boring very fast. Cellar Dweller, I couldn't agree more with your comments. Sean Sheridan saying, this is like when your other half cheats on you, even if this doesn't go through, you still did this and I can't trust you anymore. Next up, we've got Unknown CGP saying, I keep saying I'll walk away from Manchester United, but I'll always be wondering what the score is. Yeah, it's hard to walk away from something you've supported for 15 years, but football is dying. LKB11 saying, I read on a football app that the Premier League will not change and it will be midweek only. Indeed, if you were here earlier, we did say it's going to be midweek, leaving the Champions League and Europa, if anything, or am I missing something? Well, look, it's not quite the same, is it? If you can imagine, the reason why Champions League is so special, I guess, is because, and why it's so lucrative as well, is because these TV deals, these TV broadcasters are buying into the fact that these big clubs are going to bring in viewers. If you take away those viewers, the money goes down, everyone is going to suffer. Jonathan Davies saying the Mitchell and Webb sketch, Hugh. Is that another Mitchell and Webb sketch? It's classic stuff. Who is that saying football died in 92? Correct. Jonathan Davis saying English football died in 1992. I'll still be supporting Liverpool in this Super League because I don't know any other life. Amin Nobara saying that 30 years from now, I guarantee you this won't be profitable enough and they will make an Ultra League. A random guy saying you will never win a Champions League. Yeah, correct. You may well be very correct. Sad, very sad. Mark Blanton saying, I'm from across the pond and I hate this. I love the Champions League and Premier League system. My club, Chelsea, should not have done this. Bart Coleman saying, and I thought we were moving towards equality. I guess I was wrong. Naftali Tesfaye in the chat as well, saying, as a Manchester City fan, all I know is this club since I was 8 years old. It hurt so much, and trying to remove myself from this club is impossible. My jaw is actually hurting a little bit, aching. It's been a frustrating evening. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me. I love the fact that we're able to communicate, that you are able to, or that I am able to share my frustrations and thoughts with you. Some of those thoughts are that we are going to see some incredibly entertaining football with the true elites. But at what cost? At what price? Who are we actually making richer here? The names involved are super questionable and are gone already. They have left the footballing world behind, to the point where what we have on offer right now is actually very predictable. Very predictable. You get the odd anomaly, but it is a little bit like, what is the equivalent? It's like a 0 on a roulette table. What is that? 1 in 36. No, 37. 1 in 37, is that right? I think 1 in 37, yeah. Random. Do you know what I mean? Might happen. Probably not, though. Could go 100 years without it ever happening. I'll put it to you now. You will play the game that you need to play. Some of you will be, up for challenging this. Some of you will be up for taking this all the way. A lot of you will turn your backs on clubs, and some of you, I would imagine most of you, will try and fight it and realize pretty quickly that you are completely powerless, and this has already happened. Sad scenes of unglorious emotion, but we are where we are. Brian McGill saying, it's time to switch to basketball. I'm sad right now, Hugh. Alexander Dixon saying, we sold our soul when we left Highbury. Mihailo Milutinovic, my son. This is a reminder, he says, that fans are treated as currency. Forget watching your publicly listed corporations and support local football. DC Vid says, is it time for Celtic and Rangers to join the Premier League? Jamie says, what happens to the Merseyside derby? This is madness. Come and be a Villa fan, bro. And Bart Coleman says, I thought we were moving towards equality. I guess I was wrong. Byron sorry, I've done it again. Dyslexic. Byron Valenzuela says, if any social movements are so heavily sponsored by corporations, then be skeptical of their true intentions. Real revolutions don't have merchandise. Jesus. I'll drink to that. Real revolutions don't have merchandise. But here we are buying into all this bullshit. Mad. Here we go. Kirk Wilson says, you're forgetting that Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool all helped to build football within this country, and without them, the Premier League would not be as popular. Umut Kara Arsenal saying, funnily enough, the announcement was made so late at night that it was actually at prime American time. This is just the American capitalistic model finishing off football. Ahmed Aden saying, NBA fan here, when it comes to fan support, few clubs have history, Lakers, Celtics, and most of the diehard support is regional. Most supporters just support players. Indeed. Wesley Fofana has reportedly tweeted, we're going to go over and have a little look to see what he has said. Let's just have a little look, a little butchers. I'm going to bring this over here so we can follow along together. Where are we? Wesley Fofana, of course, who was William Saliba's centre-back partner at Saint-Etienne, has tweeted quite a few times, and this is one of the most famous images, really. A beautiful, like, what do we call that? Is it a it's not a mosaic. It's like a. It's not like 10. What's that? 1066. It's called the Bayern. What is it called? The tapestry. What's that thing from 1066 called, mate? Take that out. What's that thing from 1066 called? The laws and all that. What's it called? You know, the Magna Carta. What is the Magna Carta? What is that? No, but what's it like made out of? What do they call that thing? Mahogany, is it? Mahogany's wood, isn't it? Oh, he's fucking clueless. Listen, this is where we are. This is the truth. This is the truth. Created by the poor, stolen by the rich. This is not a working class man's game, lads. Wake up. Be realistic. Be realistic. They have also announced, incidentally, a corresponding women's league, which will be launched as soon as is practical after the start of the men's competition. Funny that, isn't it? As soon as is practical. The new annual tournament will provide significantly greater economic growth. Oh, really? That's a surprise. Très, très, très intéressant. Fofana also tweeting a front page of L'Équipe. La guerre, is that the war? I don't know. What does that mean? A poor man's sport for a rich man's war. Very sad. Very, very sad. Untrustworthy. Deceitful. Lost. But then nothing new. It would appear that Wesley Fofana is very much in tune with the people who are devastated at what is happening in front of our eyes. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I hope you have enjoyed this stream. It has been a couple of hours now of us, or of me going in. I hope you've been provided with those hard-hitting home truths and something for you to think about. You won't have to agree with it. So you don't have to agree with anything. You don't have to agree with everything or anything. But if you do have an opposing view, please do let me know in the comments. I'll try and respond to as many as possible. And I will go through the remaining comments. Remy Fortunato, my son. I hope you're doing well, man. Much love to you, bro. I hope you're good. He says, cheers, this is sad. Greed, as always, wins with these leagues. Salmon Gaming saying, is it yet confirmed whether the Big Six will be expelled from the Premier League? I have mixed emotions. Can't the Champions League continue for other clubs? Rich, richer, poorer, poorer. Truth 884. This is promising. I know you're in tune already, bro. I know you're in tune. Truth 884 says, Hugh, if all us fans bought into the EFL and owned 51% like Bundesliga, we could avoid this in the future. It's food for thought. And Connor Swords saying, when Chelsea won the Champions League 9 years ago, it was the happiest day of my life. Sad to think those days are to be no more for fans everywhere. Vlad the Third. Oh, this is my son. This is my fraudulent friend. Thank you. Vlad wants to let us know that he thinks you have all been asleep for the past decade. Football is already corporatized, commercialized, and commodified. The fans let this happen, but now you want to fight this. Beautiful. That's it. That is it. I want to cut it there. That is it. Comment of the day from Vlad the Third. I mean, he knows. Some of you just know. The gang. I appreciate you. Honestly, I really do. It's amazing to know that there are people in the world who are special. Joey, why is every football fan twerking for UEFA? They say that UEFA is corrupt every year, yet when the clubs decide to break away from UEFA, everyone's upset. Très intéressant. XGL says, I want to see my club play the best, but off merit, not entitlement. Everyone should be able to experience the best, not locked out of it. Psalms 14:1. What is that? It's going to be a gem of a quote, isn't it? Let's just have a look. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. Their deeds are vile. There is no one who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven on the sons of men to see if there are any who understand, any who seek God. The truth is what we're all trying to seek. Psalms 14:1 saying, I'll just find an online stream. Why make the rich richer? Brian McGill, I can't do that. I cannot do that. However, I appreciate you. I appreciate you all for getting involved. Like I said before, my jaw's hurting, and we have talked in depth tonight about the future of football, the death of football, the changing face of the game we love. And I'll be back tomorrow with another discussion, and we will react to the news as it breaks. We will react to the news as it breaks, because there will be changes, there will be announcements made, and they will all be reacting to each other. Chivs saying it's not about UEFA, it's about making elite football a closed shop, even when the teams competing aren't there on merit. And Freddie Freedom saying it's unsurprising that clubs like Real, Barcelona, Juventus and Inter Milan have pushed for this, in hundreds of millions of debt, and they need a big cash grab. Economic self-interest at its peak. Jesus Christ. The levels of comments tonight have been first class. You are sensational as a subscriber audience. I love you. You're bang on the money. Even if we've got different opinions, you're all making valid points, because there are pros and cons to this. It's just most of them happen to be cons. Tinfoil Arsenal says, we just drew to Fulham. I see it already. Arsenal scrapping the year over and over again to get the #1 draft pick. And Tarun Khatri saying, I don't want to play the same European team every week. There is beauty in earning the right to play in Europe and then having those magical European nights. This is going to make me fall out of love with the club and football. Cozy High saying the Champions League will still carry on and might ironically become more popular than the European Super League. This would create new European elites and make the old elite irrelevant. Unless they have the money to market themselves as effectively, I question that massively. But I hear you. It's certainly something we can think about. Listen, I'm going to love you and leave you for right now. Much love to everyone who is involved. I'm just going to follow a few frauds who have shared my pinned tweet just for the support. I do appreciate you. And John McGod, Joshua Tolliver, Disgusting Caramel, OC Brit, Safe, No Filters, Safe, you are an old school Don. You've been following me for like 8 years, I'm pretty sure. Booman786, Jazzjit and Harvey, you are massively appreciated. Much love to your mothers. Please do look after each other. We're all we've got. Until next time, lads, I'm going to love you and leave you. For now, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I put my life and soul into these conversations. We'll be back tomorrow with more as and when it breaks. For now, though, my name's been Hugh, Wizzy, and this has been massively fraudulent. Peace.